An Airbnb guest is suing a host for extortion. This is a new one for us. Let's dive into what this means and what you can do as a host to prevent something like this from happening.
We are the Real Estate Robinsons.
What's up, guys? I'm Tony.
I'm Sarah.
And we're real estate investors who quit our day jobs by investing in Airbnbs, and we're here to show you how you can do the same. Today's video is going to dive into a story that Sarah and I came across, probably one of the more crazy stories that we've heard from an Airbnb investor guest perspective. But basically, there's a Airbnb in Tennessee near Memphis where a host is being sued by one of their guests for extortion.
So I haven't actually read the article. It was floating around social media. It just caught our attention. So this is live reaction of Tony. He's already read through the entire article, knows exactly what happened or what's currently happening. And I have no idea other than the headline. So babe, what happened?
Just really quick, like extortion, I looked it up really quickly. So extortion is the practice of obtaining benefit through coercion. And usually it's like illegal, right? Okay. So basically like, hey, I've got some dirt on you that I'm gonna let loose unless you give me what it is I'm looking for.
So who's doing that to who?
The host is extorting the guest. So let me break down the story here, right? So this one's from Fox News, but I saw this article floating around from a few different places.
Yeah.
But this one says, Airbnb host sent guest wife image of him with another woman in a scheme to extort him. An Airbnb guest wrote a less than glowing review of a stay at a Tennessee rental, and then the superhost lashed out and attempted to extort him by emailing his wife a photo of him with another woman. Talk about juicy. So basically,
but like what? There's like so much to unpack there. One, your Airbnb isn't even cute. That must be it, right?
Looks like it.
Like, girl, it's one bad review and you're tripping that hard. That's number one.
We'll see as we go through this that the host herself kind of seems a little bit Karen-esque.
What the heck does that mean?
She seems like a Karen.
Oh.
The host seems like a Karen.
Oh, that was a fancy word, girl.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, clearly, yes, because the photo, like, what? You're tripping. Two, and the other thing that was odd was, how'd she get the wife's email? What the hell? Talk about FBI agent.
Yeah. So in the lawsuit, Sean Mackey, he's the guest that stayed at this property, suing the superhost named Pamela Fowler. So it says, Mackey accused Fowler and Airbnb of invading his privacy, inflicting on him emotional distress, and causing quote unquote damage to his marriage. So he's also suing Airbnb in this case, which is pretty crazy.
The guest is accusing the host and Airbnb of invading his privacy, emotional distress. I feel like he's gaslighting.
I mean, shame on him for cheating, right? And getting caught and being mad about it. But also, like, as we read the story, like the host is being a little bit aggressive.
Okay,
so
let me not judge. Let me keep reading.
Yeah, so let me read through kind of how the issue started. So
Okay.
So it looks like this guest booked a 2-night stay at this host's property, and again, it's in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
So the guest told his host that he would be in town to quote unquote visit a friend and that he may invite them over for dinner. He said, and these are his words, very low key, please let me know if there are any concerns.
Okay.
The property itself that he was rented out for $567 a night, and it could accommodate up to 12 guests. So a slightly bigger property, right? Like almost $600 a night is a bigger property. But in the lawsuit, it's saying Mackey, again, who's the guest here, says he thought that it was odd that Fowler wanted a full list of guests at the home, even if they weren't going to stay overnight. So again, the host wanted a full list of everyone coming into the property, even if they weren't staying overnight, which is
a
weird.
red flag. Yeah.
We've never, obviously you want to know who the folks are that are staying overnight, but even still, we never ask for the names of the people who are staying. We just want like the person who's responsible for booking.
I don't even care who's staying.
But yeah, I mean, it's not weird to know how many people are going to be staying the night, but it is a little weird to ask.
No, to like name drop, that's bizarre. That's like a red flag for sure. I would have canceled the reservation. Wouldn't you?
It sounds annoying.
Let's say if we booked a place and this host was asking us to list out That's a little weird.
It's a little over the top.
Yeah, I would be like, oh my God, she's going to be difficult, you know?
Especially if they're not staying overnight. I think that part's super unreasonable.
Yeah, very weird.
Hey guys, we'll get back to this juicy story in a sec, but first, I want to talk to you about my favorite 3-letter government agency, the IRS. Now, when I say favorite, I mean the one that I'm most afraid of, clearly. The part of being an entrepreneur and small business owner that's a little bit scary is the idea of getting audited by the IRS. And if you're unfamiliar with what an audit is, it's the IRS combing through every single expense in your business, looking for any that are incorrect or illegitimate, even a little bit, in hopes that they can send you a bill asking for more money. Now, the numbers vary depending on what data source you're looking at, but approximately 4 out of every 1,000 tax returns gets audited. So the chances are kind of small of you falling into that bucket, but if you do, you better have all of your books tight and clean so you can walk through that process as smoothly as possible. Now, it's your responsibility as a business owner to prove that all of your expenses were legit. It's called the burden of proof. And the IRS describes the burden of proof as this: you must be able to substantiate certain elements of expenses to deduct them. Generally, taxpayers meet their burden of proof by having information and receipts where needed for the expenses. So basically, if you get audited, you need all of the receipts for your business. Now look, here's the wrong way to keep track of all your receipts. Piling them into a shoebox or putting them in some filing cabinet and then dropping that box off at the doorstep of your CPA or your bookkeeper. That's super old school, it's super inefficient, and it can honestly just lead to more headaches down the road. So the right way to keep track of your receipts is to do so digitally. Now, as you make purchases, just quickly snap a photo of the receipt, digitally tag that receipt to the right transaction, and store it in the cloud. Now, you could use Google Drive or pay for some expensive third-party software to do this, but I think we found the easiest way to track receipts, and it's doing it right within the online banking platform we already use, which is Relay. Look guys, I was super excited when I saw this, but Relay now offers receipt management built into their business banking platform. It's super easy with this new feature to make sure that A, every receipt is captured and stored, B, that every receipt gets tied to the right transaction, and C, you have a clear list of all the transactions that are missing receipts so you know what to go look for in person in real time. We were at the point in our business where the receipt management was becoming a little bit of a nightmare. A lot of emails back and forth with us and our bookkeeping team, but with this new rollout, it's really simplified things for us. So if you're ready to ditch the old school way of keeping track of your receipts and get all of the really cool features that come along with Relay, like virtual debit cards, same-day ACH payments to your cleaners, cash flow management based on the profit first methodology, and a whole heck of a lot more. Now, all of our YouTube subscribers get a little bonus when you sign up for Relay, so if you want to know what that bonus is, hit the link in the description. All right, now let's get back to this juicy story. Anyway, she also had a bunch of other rules that said no smoking, no vaping, no excessive noise, no guests from local area, no parking in front of the garage doors or on the right side of the property, no glass, no food, no drinks, or urinating in the pool, and no skinny dipping. So those were the house rules that she had laid out for this guest.
Okay, but I don't think any of that is crazy.
No, that's
you don't think so either, right?
No, all that seems pretty reasonable.
No smoking, same. No excessive noise, valid. What else? No guests from local area. I get that because people think people go to party. So I agree with that. No parking in front of the garage doors on the right side must. There must be some reason. Yeah, some reason.
None of that seems unreasonable, right? And she also said that there's a fee of $500 if any of those rules were broken, plus cancellation of the reservation. So she had that in her house rules. That's what was going on.
Yeah.
So here's where things get weird, right? The guest says that he starts getting messages from the host saying, hey, I'm getting a lot of noise complaints from the neighbors, and they're saying that you're in the backyard cussing at people and just causing a general disturbance. I need you to respond and cut all this stuff out. And I guess he doesn't respond in a timely enough fashion, so she follows up again and says, hey, I need you to respond right now. And then finally sends another message. The host says, hey, I haven't heard from you. I'm canceling your reservation. You need to leave. The guest finally responds and says, hey, none of that is true. Like, I'm not arguing with anybody. We're not even like outside right now. We're inside the property, keeping it down, keeping it quiet. So he ends up leaving the next morning anyway, and he requests a refund for the nights that he didn't stay, which is, whatever, understandable. This is where things just kind of starts hitting the fan, right? So he leaves a super negative review, and she starts harassing him pretty much to remove this negative review for staying at the property.
So, does she not have any cameras to reference to validate if that neighbor was actually pointing the finger at this guest, accurately? Yeah, I don't know.
That's right. It seems a little funny, right?
Yeah.
So this is the host responds to this guest's 1-star review and says, hey, you're going to jeopardize my superhost status, and then again began harassing him. So there's a screenshot in this article. We'll show it here so you guys can read it. But this is like the screenshots from the Airbnb conversation. And the guest telling the host, he says, I've reviewed Airbnb's non-discrimination policies and your privacy policy. I've attached correspondence to show a pattern where the host has consistently violated those terms, agreements, and policies set forth by Airbnb. In doing so, Pamela, who's the host, has continued to discriminate against me, present hostile behavior, and attempt to extort money from me by emailing pictures to, it doesn't say where to, but we're assuming that it's his wife. So here's what happens. The host gets upset that this guest leaves a 1-star review and won't take it down. So she scrubs her cameras and sees a photo of the guest with some other woman who's not his wife. So the guest then tracks down the wife's email and sends a photo via email and only says, I love your bag. Where'd you get it? Along with the photo of the guy and this other woman.
Wow. She knew what she was doing there.
Yeah, so the guest says that his marriage has been damaged as a result of this, and claims that Airbnb didn't defend him. So he's now suing both the host and Airbnb.
That is psycho.
So lots of unpack
here. That is psycho. What do you think?
I mean, it's a crazy story. I don't think I've ever heard of this happening in any Airbnb before, which is why it's making headlines. I don't think the host is wrong for instituting those rules. Like Sarah said, we have a lot of similar house rules like that as well.
It's not super,
But where it gets weird is like, if he's saying that none of that even happened, which, you don't know the guests. There are some guests out there who lie about things, and maybe he was out there acting a fool, but just didn't want to cop to it. But like Sarah said, it's like, where are your cameras at? Like, where's your proof? Where's your evidence?
And even if it was, even this was a crappy guest situation, drop it. Continue on. This is the name of the game. It's like we're in a hospitality business. Imagine you're working at a hotel and this happens. What are you gonna do? Drag this on forever and find that hotel guest that ruined your day shift?
Remember?
So weird.
Remember Beef on Netflix?
No.
Remember the
road
rage?
Yes. Oh my god.
If you guys have seen Beef on Netflix, it's kind of like that.
Dude, that's exactly what it is.
This is just like gotten escalated to like the level that never had to. So as a host, like Sarah said, I feel like we were probably just find the guests, and if they left a bad review, I mean, just go to Airbnb and ask them to review it or remove it. Like, obviously this is a retaliatory review. Like,
oh, for sure. So he left that review. Yeah, I mean, no, I'm sure he left that review for other reasons too, She was a kind of crazy host,
I know, but the fact that he left it, I'm sure he highlighted the fact that she fined him and all these other things.
Yeah.
She probably could have gotten that review removed pretty easily.
Oh, for sure.
And avoided all of this. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm still kind of shocked at the fact that she found the wife's email. I don't know how that happened.
Did she find it? That's crazy. But I'm actually a really good investigator too. Tony can say someone's name. I will literally find their Instagram in 0.25 seconds.
That's true.
So I get it. I know. I would find the wife also. I think a lot of women would find the wife. So it's not that hard, but just kind of weird that she did that, know? So what? She was asking the wife for money, or I'm confused with extortion.
No, she wanted the guest.
So they're saying the bad review is the extortion.
She wanted She wanted him to remove his review, or she would send that email to his wife.
Did she literally say that to him or no?
Yeah.
No.
That's what this is saying.
No way. Oh my God. That is weird. That is really, really weird.
Yeah. So
I want to see what she looks like. Is there a photo?
No photo.
Just curious.
We could probably
for
Google
some
her name.
reason.
But guys, like lessons here for the host, right? I think first is always have a paper trail for things that you want to present against your guest, right? So like me and Sarah said,
sure.
If you're going to kick someone out of your property for violating your house rules, you better have proof that those house rules were actually violated. Have a noise detection system that's going to check the decibels to see if they were loud. Have some kind of correspondence from your neighbors that shows, hey, I was actually outside arguing with your guest or whatever it may be. So just come with proof, I think, is the first thing. And then the second point that Sarah made is like, you've got to know how to pick and choose your battles.
Oh, for sure.
And if this guest leaves you a 1-star review, before you go on this vendetta to destroy their personal lives, just try and get the review removed.
Yeah.
We
actually had a similar-ish, not to this extent, happen recently, but let me tell the story really quickly. So this guest checked in fine, around 4 p.m. and then goes out and parties, comes back to the unit around 2 a.m. I'm asleep, our VAs are asleep. I have my phone on do not disturb, so I'm not getting any notifications, but she was blowing my phone up through Airbnb around 2 in the morning when she got back to the unit because the code wasn't working. AKA she couldn't get inside to the unit anymore. Turns out she's been inputting the wrong code and locked the keypad. And I wake up at 7 a.m. to, a list of unread messages on Airbnb and now my Google Voice number. So right away I call this guest instead of going through messaging on the platform. I was just like, oh my God, let me call her. And, I apologize. And I was just like, what is happening? Like, let me just unlock the door for her. So whatever. She gets in. She had to sleep in her car supposedly. So it was just like so chaotic. I just like tried to do whatever to resolve it in that moment. And then after like 30 minutes, I'm like reviewing my keypad app. I'm reviewing all the messages, the timestamps and everything. And that's when I confirmed she was just inputting the wrong code and deactivated the lock, so she was asking for a full refund. And actually I was willing to give her a full refund minus the cleaning fee, which was like $75. So I was like, girl, I don't know. I just didn't want to. I was like, I got to pay my cleaner still. It was nothing wrong. I feel like I was still being generous by giving her the full refund, don't you think? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, she was very, very, very upset about that. And, was calling Airbnb, getting them involved. And I was annoyed. I was like, girl, like really $75? Like you stayed there. I have to pay my cleaners. So anyways, it was just like a very similar situation. But I think as an experienced host, or maybe not as petty of a host, I was just like, whatever. So I got $0 out of that stay pretty much. So we had to pay our cleaners out of pocket pretty much, for an issue that wasn't really something that was our fault, right?
Yeah. You chalk it up like the cost of doing business, right? Like some things are going to happen, things are going to break, things are going to go wrong. And it's just part of being a host on this platform. So if you can't stomach that, don't come to this business, right? So Pamela, Sean, wishing you guys both the best of luck as you go on this journey of lawsuits. But hopefully you guys got some value from hearing that story and, kind of how we would respond as hosts that have been around the block a few times.
And just because I'm curious, who do you think is going to win?
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like they probably end up settling outside of court, especially if they're suing Airbnb. Though Airbnb will probably just like offer some kind of settlement and then it's all
to the guest.
To the guest.
Yeah,
obviously.
I think so because that was way out of line what that host did. Yeah. Way out of line. So
that's my prediction. We'll see if it's actually true or not.
But if you are watching this and you are Sean or Pamela, we would love to interview you. Come on the show and clear your name. What do you think?
Yeah, be a good conversation.
Juicy, yeah. Jerry Springer of Airbnb shows, Yeah. You don't want to say that. You can delete all of that.
No, so if you guys want to learn how to deal with these kind of situations in person, Sarah and I are hosting our next STR Summit, which is a 3-day live in-person Airbnb event in Denver, Colorado, June 23rd to the 25th. And guys, right now we've got a pretty massive discount going on. So head over to strsummit.com. And if you use the promo code EARLYBIRD, you'll get a pretty big discount on the actual ticket price. So again, 3 days of we got a stacked speaker lineup. We have someone from AirDNA, their VP of Data and Economics, speaking. Our buddy Rob Bilt is going to be speaking. Mike Elefante is going to be there. Rich Summers is going to be there talking about boutique hotels. Our designer Bree is going to be there. Amanda Hahn, who's an amazing real estate CPA, will be there. So we've got an amazing, amazing lineup of speakers. You will not be disappointed by what we got going on there. So again, strsummit.com, head over there. We'll see you guys in June. All right, that's it for today, guys. I'm Tony.
I'm Sarah.
And we are
the Real Estate Robinsons.